think the strumming of the ukulele is the heart of the ukulele. The ukulele came from the marriage of a couple of different instruments that were used for dancing, you know, folk instruments, and for stomping on the wheat. They would dance when they made the bread. They would dance for somebody's birthday. We're talking about Madeira now. So, if you're going to dance, you got to have a beat, you got to have rhythm and stuff. And so the strumming, you know, Madeiran rhythms were, they always sounded to me like high school cheers kind of thing. And it's very percussive kind of playing, and the other instruments would pick on top of it, but the thing that really drove it, of course, is the strumming. It was done on primarily the Rajol, which was before the ukulele was invented, and when it made its way to Hawaii, they called it the taro patch fiddle because they would take it out in the taro patch fields when they worked, and you could play melody and rhythm on it, you know, so it was an instrument of choice, and it was called the taro patch. In fact, the taro patch, or the Rajol, it was tuned, it had 5 strings. It was tuned with 2 re-entrant strings. You know, re-entrant string enters a scale at a different spot than you'd expect it to. And the ukulele, as we know it, is my dog has fleas. Well, the Rajol is tuned spot, my dog has fleas, you know. So they took that tuning off the Rajol and stuck it on the Virginia, which made the instrument they made very strummable because it came from the Rajol, which was basically strummed. So a lot of the heart of the ukulele is in the strum. And the strum defines where the song is at any given moment, you know? And you can dampen the strum, speed it up, slow it down, use one finger, or a lot of Hawaiians, they'll play just the thumb. Interesting thing about the thumb and the finger, you got a thumb that's kind of real fleshy. When you strum with the thumb, what happens? You get a picket fence. You can see the holes between the fence. You hear every note in the strum. You use your finger, you notice they all came together. So you can do an interplay between them. Let's say I'm using just the finger for a while. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. What if I were to accent that first beat? I could, a lot of different ways I could do that. I could 1, 2, 3, 4. I could just strike it harder. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Or I could be mellow. I could use my thumb. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. You hear that thumb? Spread it out. So that's one of the secrets of the thumb. The thumb gives a texture that the finger can't give it. You just, well, I guess you could, but you'd stop. But the thumb, being fat like that, it spreads those strings out. So when you're playing, now here I'm using all kinds of fingers. I'm using all the fingers. I'm throwing in a roll, but I'm treating it as one strum, even though I'm actually hitting it 4 times with my fingers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. No matter what I'm doing, I'm still counting 4, or 3 if it happens to be a 3 tune. So the strum, you can get the ukulele to talk, and notice I've only been playing 1 chord, but we've done all kinds of things already. And I'm going to stick with that 1 chord, the 1 finger chord, the C chord. So there I'm using 2 fingers, thumb and finger. This is a strum I picked up fairly early in my ukulele playing career. I take my fingers and I make a pedestal, and this finger is basically just teasing that bottom string and whatever else it happens to be hitting, and the thumb is alternating between the 2 top strings while that happens. Now, everyone has their own way of playing that. It'll seem cumbersome, you know, your fingers feel like potatoes at first, but after you do it for a while, your fingers start to learn where the strings are, and your head gets out of the way. And your fingers are doing it. Now we talked a little bit earlier about spreading the strings out with the thumb. Here I'm using the thumb just to pick individual strings, the top two. But I could also throw in that thumb strum just for variety, because this, entertaining as it is, it will get boring after a moment or two. So you might want to do something else, like throw a thumb strum in when you're, you know, metric. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Or depends on, throw another rhythm on top of the one you got going. Still just using one chord here. Haven't left it yet. Now what about this thing I showed you here? This roll. You can just do just that. And then notice there's another thing that's happening. Now I'm using my thumb. Besides this roll, I'm using my thumb coming up with the thumb. I'm using the nail. It has an entirely different sound than this. Down, up, down, up. There might be a time you're just playing along. Okay, now I'm playing more than one chord, I'm playing more than one note. I'm showing off. But that's one of the things you get to do with a ukulele. You get to find things to do. And then they tickle you, and then you hope to tickle somebody else.